August 15th was the official beginning of our statewide impaired driving campaign. Basically, it's a statewide initiative to ramp up law enforcement presence and enforcement and visibility against or trying to prevent or stop impaired driving. That's folks who've had anything to drink or might otherwise be intoxicated while operating a motor vehicle on a Texas roadway. The whole idea is that we'll have more law enforcement out and more visibility that will discourage people from ever getting behind the wheel if they're intoxicated in the first place. That way, if we start sooner, folks already develop the idea that, hey, we know there are going to be more law enforcement out during this time period, more than usual, because they're going to be able to work some overtime hours and get out and do some additional enforcement. So the more folks see that there's law enforcement presence before a major holiday like Labor Day, when you have folks who are out, you're out barbecuing, grilling, going out to the lake or whatever, if they know they're going to be more law enforcement out on the streets, they're less likely to engage in dangerous behaviors that could, ultimately kill or injure somebody or themselves. Labor Day is one of the higher weekends in terms of intoxicated drivers that we have. Of course, this is, intoxicated driving is a problem any time of year. Holiday weekends, particularly so. Last year in 2024, we had 327 DUI traffic crashes across the state, causing 10 deaths and 36 injuries. In the Lufkin district alone, we had 2 DUI accidents. Fortunately, those didn't result in fatalities or serious injuries, but that doesn't mean there's not a possibility for it. In 2024, including Labor Day, I should say, we had 295 DUIs that killed 20 people and resulted in 38 serious injuries. Now, that might not have a high percentage of fatalities or serious injuries specifically on Labor Day weekend, but anytime you have 295 DUI crashes that kill 20 people, it's something to take seriously and to try to prevent. And that's what we're trying to do through this. Statewide, of course, like I said, holidays have always proven to be a time of higher incident for intoxicated driving. I mean, it just makes sense that, people are out there celebrating, they're having a good time, and they're not planning ahead. They're not planning a sober ride home. They're not planning to stay where they are. That's one of the biggest issues is that people go into these holidays without a plan for how they're going to get home or be responsible with their substance use or their drinking or something like that. And that's really what we're encouraging people to do here as well, is to prevent ever having to be stopped by one of these law enforcement officers who are out working harder, by having a sober driver who's going to follow the rules of the road. Make a plan to get home or to stay where you are. Use a ride share, or have a sober driver, a designated driver. Those are some things you can do to avoid this ever being an issue for you. And there's a lot of folks who will think that oh, well, I had 1 or 2 beers or something like that, I can get home just fine. But you're not just putting yourself at risk when you're out there doing that. You're putting everybody else everybody else on the road at risk. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to risk taking someone's loved one away, or injuring or killing somebody else. It is simply not worth it. These DUI wrecks are entirely preventable. There's absolutely no reason for them to happen, because we can simply have a plan in place. A person can simply make a plan and avoid ever having the possibility of being involved in an alcohol-related traffic crash.